Under the Units tab, other than viewing the lists of units and its properties in their account, users are also able to create new units. However, to create units, access will be required. To start creating a unit, click New, and a window will appear for you to fill in the details of the unit. You will need to key in the name of the unit, and select the unit type, which ranges from vehicles, to personal GPS trackers, and to stationary objects. Specify the device type by keying in the name of the device or selecting from the drop-down list when you click on this field. After you have selected your device type, you will be able to see the server address for the device. Do make sure that this server address is updated in the device as well. As for the unique ID, please key in the device's International Mobile Equipment Identity Number, IMEI for short, or the serial number. For the phone number, this is the mobile number of the SIM card installed in the device and must be indicated in the international format. You may also key in the password that you would like to set for your unit. Additionally, you may also key in the unit's value for the counters. By enabling the auto feature for your units, the counter will automatically be updated. Otherwise, it will remain constant at the value that you have set for these counters. Once you are done, click OK to create the unit. In the Units tab, you can see all the units in your account. You can also edit the information regarding your unit. To edit a unit, click Unit Properties, and you will see the Properties menu. As you can then see, there are many tabs in the Unit Properties. Under the General tab, you can set the mileage counter according to the odometer of your vehicle. To do so, key in the value of your vehicle's odometer reading in the mileage counter, and tick the Auto feature to allow it to update automatically. The mileage value is updated based on the distance traveled that has been recognized by Waymo Fleet. Once the information has been keyed in, click OK to save the changes. However, we strongly discourage users to edit other items on this tab, and should you need to, please contact your account manager for assistance. In the Access tab, you can assign access level rights to each user. In order to do this, you must first have more than one user in your account. By default, there are 3 different access presets that are available, which are No Access, Full Access, and Read Only. However, if you would like to make minor adjustments to grant different access levels to your users, you can select which access to grant or retract by clicking on the checkbox. Additionally, you may also create your own presets. To do so, click on Edit Presets and click Create. You may then set the access levels as per your requirements, and change the name of the preset by double-clicking on it. Once done, click Save and the preset will be created. To choose a preset, simply click on the preset name, and it will be selected. You may also delete, or make a copy of the preset. This can be done by clicking on the Edit Preset button. Then click on Delete or Duplicate buttons respectively. After you have made the changes to the preset, click Save. Once you are done with access, click OK. In the Icon tab, you can set the icon you want your vehicle to be displayed as on the map. Click on the icon library and choose any of the icons available. Additionally, other than using the provided icon from the library, you may also upload your own icon by clicking on the icon box. You will then be prompted to select a file from your PC to upload. In order to show the direction your vehicle is moving, tick the Rotate icon box. Once done, click OK to save the changes. In the Advanced tab, you can see the parameters that are set for generating reports, the speed limit, the color of the tracks, and more. These parameters are set by default on Waymo Fleet. Should you require to change any of these parameters, you may do so. However, in order to make those changes, you will need to request for access. The parameters used in reports will affect the execution of the report. To make any changes in this section, you may fill in the fields with the value suitable for your use. Under the Speeding section, you may decide on how the speed limit violations are determined by the platform, be it to have a fixed limit, to follow the limits from roads, or to have none at all. As for the driver activity, this section helps you to monitor the activity of the driver and whether they are following the Department of Occupational Safety and Health standards. By default, the names of the units and the drivers assigned to them are shown on the map in red. However, you can select a different color for each unit by changing the unit label color. The track color, on the other hand, sets the colors of the tracks, that is the lines of unit movement on the map. Tracks can be single or multicolored depending on the settings according to which the color is determined. The usage of sensor colors allows you to select sensors the color of which should be used for, in certain interfaces on the platform, such as the monitoring panel, motion state signs and battery level. In the Sensors tab, you will be able to see the list of sensors for your units. By default, Wemo Fleet creates certain sensors for your units which are used to show the overall status of your units and to trigger notifications. If you require more customization for the sensors, you may create, configure, and delete the sensors. However, access will be required to make any changes to the sensors. To create a sensor, click New, and fill in the details of the sensor in the fields available. As for the sensor type, you may select the suitable type from the list available. Depending on the device installed in your vehicle, fill in the parameter of the sensor for the data that you need to acquire. Additionally, under intervals and colors, you may fill in the value from the sensor and the color for each value. The color that is set here for the sensor can be displayed on the work list of the monitoring tab for your vehicle. For more complex use case of sensors, you may utilize the calculation table for better representation of your data. The Custom Fields tab allows users to create fields with additional information regarding their units. For example, fuel grade, road tax date, and so on. However, to work with the custom fields, access will be required. To create the custom fields, fill in the name and value fields, and then click on the plus icon. After you have saved the changes, the custom fields created will be displayed in an alphabetical order. If you would like to restrict certain fields, you may mark them as admin field by clicking on the checkbox. By doing so, the selected fields will only be available to users that have admin access level rights. To delete a custom field, click on the delete icon next to it. After you have made the changes, click OK to save them. Once created, the custom fields can then be displayed in the Unit Tooltip on the Monitoring tab. Searching the units by custom fields when adding them to the Monitoring tab. To add the unit into a unit group, simply select the group and click on the Add button. In order to select more than one group but in adjacent to one another, hold down the Shift button. Additionally, to select more than one group but not in adjacent to one another, hold down the Control button and select the unit groups. To remove the unit from the unit groups, simply click on the Remove button. In the Command tab, you will be able to see the list of commands that are available for your vehicles. Depending on your subscription plan, you will have certain commands made available to you by default. A command can be sent manually from the Monitoring tab or automatically through the Jobs and Notifications tabs. If you require more customizations for the commands, you may create new ones, edit or delete any existing commands. However, to make the changes to your vehicle's commands, access must be obtained. To create a new command, click New. You will then need to fill in the details of the command. As for the channel used to send the command, the default channel used for the other commands are through TCP. However, you may choose the channel suitable for your use case. You may also indicate what are the access level required in order for a user to be able to execute the command by selecting them from the list. To select multiple access rights, you may use the Shift button to select adjacent access rights, or the Control button to select access rights that are not adjacent to each other. For a command with a fixed function, untick the Without Parameters option and type in the parameter. Otherwise, you may enable this option to create a blank command which you can type in the parameters each time you would like to execute it. Once the command has been set up, click OK to create it. Eco Driving on Wemo Fleet allows you to assess the quality of driving by detecting violations and scoring each of the violations for penalty scoring. Generally, a lower penalty score of a vehicle translates to a better drive, which may be safer and possibly more fuel efficient. You can add the eco-driving criteria in two ways. Use a preset criterion of one of the available templates, automobile, truck, or bus. Or customize your own by adding a new criterion. However, to work with eco-driving, access to it is required. Waymo Fleet can calculate acceleration by GPS and eco-driving parameters. Eco-driving parameters, or GPS. By default, the Waymo Fleet platform uses GPS and eco-driving parameters, as it provides the most desired results. If you would like to amend the settings of each criterion, click the wrench button and set the requirements accordingly. Parameters are determined on the type of criterion you select. The system provides the following types of criterions: speeding, acceleration, braking, turn, reckless driving, and custom. Set the minimum and maximum violation values so if the unit's parameter value falls within this range, a violation will be recorded. Additional parameters include a validator, which is used to confirm or deny the incoming value, a minimum and maximum duration, which determines the duration at which the violation is recorded, the minimum and maximum speed at which the violation is recorded, and lastly, averaging, which determines how the penalty scores are worked. In the Profile tab, you may fill in your vehicle information such as vehicle type, registration plate, make and model, and so on. If your device has access to the OBD or CAN bus of your vehicle, you may key in the VIN and click Check VIN, and the system will automatically fill up the information. However, do note that this feature is vehicle specific. In Trip Detector, you can select the method used to detect movement and set the value of the parameters to be taken into account for trips and stopping and parking intervals. However, to change these parameters, access needs to be granted, as by default Waymo Fleet will utilize the best option for accuracy purposes. The Service Intervals tab allows you to set any required maintenance interval to carry out any maintenance activities on time. The list allows you to see the service name, the description, if any, and the state. To add a new service interval, click New and fill in the required parameters. As for the intervals, there are 3 ways to indicate this, which are by mileage, engine hours, and days. You may choose to select one interval criteria or more simultaneously, and these criteria will be tracked independently. For example, the mileage term may be expired but the days term may not be expired yet. As for the done times, you may indicate how many times the service type has been carried out. Once you have completed filling up the details, click OK. In order to register the completion of the service interval, head to the Monitoring tab and select Register Event on your vehicle. In the available events, select Maintenance Work. You may then fill in the details of the maintenance work and select the type of maintenance from the list. Once you have filled in the details, you may click Save and Continue if there are other events to register. Otherwise, you may click on OK to save the event. This will reset your next interval.